Chapter 2. The Bowels of Hell. Deep beneath the earth, the bowels of hell seethed with an unrelenting, insatiable fury. Flames roared like living beasts, their tongues of fire licking at the jagged, blackened rock, casting wild, flickering shadows that danced like tormented souls. The very ground pulsed with heat, cracked and molten, oozing with rivers of liquid fire that carved a path through the abyss. The air was thick with the acrid stench of sulfur and the echoes of anguished wails, their sorrow woven into the very fabric of the infernal expanse. Darkness loomed in the spaces between the flames, not the absence of light, but a consuming, suffocating void, pressing against the damned like an unseen hand. It was the place of endless torment, where time lost meaning and despair clung to the air like a choking fog, wrapping itself around all who dared to fall into its grasp. Lucifer, his form towering and menacing, paced back and forth, his movements agitated. Suddenly he threw his head back and let out a gut-wrenching roar, his voice echoing through the abyss. He spread his hand open, peering into it, and the image of Anne and her neighbor laughing appeared. He saw Anne place her hand on her pregnant belly, her joy unmistakable. Lucifer's hand clenched into a fist, and he let out a guttural moan, his rage palpable. Later, inside her home, Anne sat by the window, her fingers deftly stitching a delicate baby garment. The golden afternoon light spilled through the wooden shutters, casting warm, dappled patterns across the earthen floor. A gentle breeze stirred the fabric in her lap, carrying the faint scent of rosemary and freshly baked bread. The quiet hum of village life drifted in from outside. Distinct voices, the occasional bleat of a goat, but within these walls all was calm, a sanctuary of quiet devotion. Then, without warning, the air shifted. The warmth drained from the room, replaced by an unnatural chill that prickled against her skin. The soft light dimmed as if the very sun recoiled. A weight settled over her chest, thick and suffocating. The flickering oil lamp trembled, its flame shrinking as a darkness richer than shadow pooled into the farthest corner. And then he was there. Lucifer emerged, his presence warping the space around him, a figure of terrible beauty and consuming dread. His eyes, like smoldering embers, bore into her, and though his face was carved with the perfection of an angel, it was marred by something deeper, an ancient rage, a sorrow twisted into something cruel. The very air around him pulsed with an unseen force, pressing against her, threatening to suffocate the peace that had moments before filled the room. Anne's needle slipped from her fingers, forgotten as she stared into the face of darkness itself. His appearance was more manlike than beast, though his presence was no less terrifying. He began to berate her, his voice dripping with malice. "Look at you, such an old withered woman with child, and Joachim is even older than you are. It's not his, is it? You adulteress. You please me, you who pray to God with such piety. Carry your sin in your belly." Anne fell to her knees, weeping, her hands instinctively covering her belly to protect her unborn child. Before Lucifer could unleash a single word, a sudden radiance shattered the oppressive gloom. In an instant, two celestial beings descended, their presence illuminating the room with a brilliance that defied the very darkness seeping from the fallen angel's form. One angel swept down with breathtaking swiftness, its massive wings unfurling like a shield of pure light, enveloping Anne in a barrier of divine protection. The air around her, once thick with dread, now hummed with an unearthly warmth, a soothing strength that pushed back the suffocating grip of evil. The second angel stood firm, towering before Lucifer, with a presence that radiated unwavering authority. Its eyes burned with fire of heaven itself, its robes gleaming like molten gold. Without hesitation, the angel's voice rang out, rich and commanding, each word thrumming with the power of the Almighty. "You will not enter this house again," the angel declared, its voice shaking the very air. "Do you not see? Anne is guarded by us, servants of the Lord. Depart, for you have no claim here." The very walls of the home seemed to vibrate with the weight of the pronouncement. The darkness recoiled, hissing like a wounded serpent, and Lucifer's once imposing form wavered, his fury met with an immovable force. Lucifer's eyes narrowed, his voice laced with venom. "Why does he guard such a wretched woman who carries a bastard child? He scrapes the bottom of the barrel for believers." The angel's voice was firm. "Leave and know that Anne is never alone." Lucifer's form began to dissipate, but his voice lingered, a chilling echo. "And I am watching. I am always watching." As his presence vanished, his voice spiraled into the abyss, a haunting reminder of his relentless malice. "Why does the likes of such disturb me so? I will end her life, if need be, whatever it takes to return to a state of peace."